Previously on Crit Fail Club.
Nyla and Selwyn roll perception. You cannot immediately identify the source, but from between your feet and snarling forward are lances of blackish energy that wrap themselves around the ankles of Ariazis and Salvador and pull so hard that Salvador and Ariazis both fall fucking flat.
I turn around.
Standing shrouded in mist, just about 30-ish feet away, the source of these snarling tentacles is a woman in black with long white hair sort of half hanging over her face.
Does anybody recognize her?
That is the goddess Bashaba.
I make like a strangled noise.
Her eyes keep moving back and forth between you. Who are you?
I'm Ariazi's. Hi.
Not you! The ones behind you.
Who's behind us?
There's no one behind you.
I don't see.
We don't know.
Can't you hear them? They echo in everything you do, everything you say. Who are they? Who are you? Answer me! I know you can hear me!
We can hear you, but we have no idea what you're talking about. Who?
I'm watching you, she hisses. I know. This fracture has something to do with you. I'll find you if it's the last thing I do. And she vanishes.
It occurs to Nyla that we have no idea what happened to Ember and Mordenkainen.
I have a
Yeah,
thing.
that's the thing. You have a spell of sending, but she would send a message to.
Mordenkainen, since you actually spoke to him more?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
So you send a message to Mordenkainen, and it fails. You try to cast this message, and then immediately it's like, return to sender. There is only one reason that occurs to you why a spell of sending wouldn't work, and it would be because the one who was receiving the message is dead. We have to make sure. Can you send one to Ember too?
Yeah. Are you okay? Is Mordenkainen alive? Is it dead? We're past the fortress. Bashaba stopped us. Someone behind us upset her. No one there.
Ember, you have 25 words to respond.
You get a message back, and all it says is, Nightwalker dead, Mordenkainen dead.
So, Evernight. If it weren't for the shadows that were shambling up and down the streets, it would look more like a ruin. What strikes you first about the city is the smell. The stench of decay is almost overpowering. It follows the shambling undead as they scuttle from place to place. You hear someone from behind you, out of the way! The first thing you see is this unbelievably ugly creature with this massive, pouch swollen under its neck. And it is attached to a massive cart full of what looks like prisoners. A couple of them are crying. Piloting this cart is this desiccated corpse. Where are they going? Salvador looks very alarmed. Selwyn, you're a necromancer. Why would a bunch of living people be being dragged through a city mostly of undead? What's the point?
Oh no. Oh.
Sal.
We can't just... Selwyn, are we really not gonna do anything?
I don't know how much we can help them right now.
Maybe if we could, lure him somewhere down a dark alley or something and then jump him?
Sal!
What?
I don't know that we can do anything right now.
Don't we have an obligation to help people if we can?
Maybe you do.
Oh.
Salvador looks a little wounded.
I'm just saying, I'm under no clerical duty to do that.
Don't you have a moral duty?
It depends on who's on the scales. We're trying to save the world, not these people.
Alright, Yassies, these people are the world.
We don't have time to save every person that we meet, Salvador.
I agree that we can't save every single person in the whole wide world, but can't we just try when we get the opportunity?
I don't think it's a good idea right now. If we get caught trying to free them,
then we'll get out of Evernight. We'll just haul ass. We'll just get the hell out of Dodge.
Nyla turns back to you and she goes, look, I really like a challenge.
Ariazi's just gonna look at Selwyn oh my god, they're both in on it.
He looks kind of desperately at the cart and he says, they're right there.
Nyla confidently looks at both of you. She's like, all you gotta do is draw him into an alleyway. I got this.
I really hate this plan.
Yo, it's a nat 20. Oh my god, he is about to fucking decimate this white.
This was not the plan.
And it's like, oh,
we should get out of here now.
We saved all those people. I'm so proud of us. And I'd like everyone except Salvador to make a quick perception check for me. Ariazes, you are the only one who notices, but you do not have time to warn. A hand appears on Selwayn's shoulder. You turn around and you see a very unusual looking creature. You can't see its face because it is wearing a large white mask. It's not everyone who can take down a howler. Well done. Although your motivations are a bit obscure to me. And he says, a pleasure to meet you. My name is Sharaka Deladir. You shouldn't linger here over long. I know a place where we might be safe from prying eyes. He points at you, Selwyn. He's like, you're obviously a necromancer.
Are you an elf? You look like an elf. Do you speak Elvish? Do you speak Elvish? He switches to Elvish.
I suppose you could call me an elf. The most correct name for what I am would be Shadurkai. Shadurkai are elves, technically, that were either born and raised or have spent most of their lives in the Shadowfell. They wear masks because, unlike any other subspecies of elves, they appear actually very aged and wizened. What is the treasure you're looking for here?
It's a very important, pillar.
I have never heard of such a thing. Would you be interested in a proposition? I was watching for most of that fight. You're all very formidable, and I have a challenge coming up that I'm not sure I can handle on my own. Some years ago, my lady, she gave me an odious task. Somewhere, she said, in a hall of learning, a wretched soul is devouring knowledge. And my lady wants his soul for her own. If you help me accomplish this task, I will take you to her, and I guarantee you, if there's anyone in the Shadowfell who knows where this pillar of yours might be, it's my lady.
You know what? We should probably clarify this point. Who is your lady?
My lady, my patron, my god, the Raven Queen, Lord of the Shadowfell. I'd like to start this session by asking you once again to roll perception.
Oh,
Great.
why?
A great way to start.
Because I enjoy torturing you.
Because I'm the
it's
DM and I said
feel
so,
like
basically.
This feels like it's a direct call out for the fact that my perception mod is 0.
Yeah,
it is.
it is.
It's definitely directed
It's
directly
that.
at you.
It's that.
What kind of
Nice.
rogue? What kind of rogue?
Nyla, purely through no good fortune of your own, because you don't stack whiz, you are the first to notice, and Shiraka somewhat after you, you hear on the window, and that sequence repeating. Shiraka and you both turn to face it at the same time, and outside of this inn, on this mostly, the window is barely holding itself together. There's a huge crack running up through it, but you can see a raven who is tapping the sequence of 4 taps over and over again, and Shiraka stands up so abruptly he almost knocks his chair over, and he says, "It's a sign. Danger's coming. We need to get out of here."
What's going on? What kind of danger?
Doesn't matter, the Raven said so, let's go!
What raven? Oh, okay.
Yes,
Nyla
let's go.
intrinsically believes all ravens.
How do you want to escape? Shiraka is kind of looking.
Okay, where are the exits? Is there like the
There's
front door and back
only
entrance?
there is only one obvious exit that you can see. There seems to be a back room in this inn, but it's behind the bar, and it would probably not go over super well if you tried to find an exit through that door.
Is there anything blocking the front door? Because I think Nyla and I had positioned ourselves to be looking that way.
No, there's nothing blocking the front door.
Okay.
Out the front?
Yep. Seemed like the obvious way.
Okay.
I think Nyla's gonna put her hood up, and actually she's gonna motion to the rest of you to let her go first and just see if she can see if there's anything going on.
So you put your hood, you put the hood of your cloak up, Nyla, and you stick your head out through the doorway, and you're gonna have to roll perception again. You're really good at this.
God damn it.
Oh wow, a 7. Nope, nothing seems amiss outside.
Nyla motions everybody because she doesn't know that she doesn't have whiz stacked. And says it's safe, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
just shrug and follow after. Like, okay.
Shiraka hesitates a little bit, but he heads outside, so you all head outside. And I would like all of you to roll perception. Except
to roll
Nyla.
again?
No, except Nyla.
Okay.
You already
Right,
rolled
because you
perception.
did already.
And I guess I'll make Shiraka roll again.
God damn it! What
Ow.
is my...
Damn, Kay.
Ariazi's just like, I hate Shiraka so much
And
that
actually,
I don't
forgot.
care.
I forgot to roll for Salvador. Why do you hate Shiraka? He's a good boy.
Yeah,
Well, she doesn't like him touching Selwyn and being so interested in her.
We've touched?
What's up with that? Yeah, he
Oh, yeah,
put
we
his
did
hand on your
touch.
shoulder, like,
We
hey,
did touch.
and he kept staring at you. She's like, the fuck's that about, huh?
So you want to fight me, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
So Shiraka looks both ways once the moment you get outside frantically, and then he swears under his breath in Elvish. And from the side of you, you hear, "Hey, there they are!"
Oh no.
You turn toward the source of the sound, and you see two. They look like ghouls outfitted as guards, and one, a third ghoul who is not outfitted as a guard, with a dead human slung over one shoulder, and the guards are looking straight at you. Shiraka says, "I certainly hope you didn't have anything you needed to do in this city."
Nope. I didn't.
yeah,
Did
but,
anybody
you know.
else have plans here?
If we did, we don't anymore. Let's go.
We don't. No.
You think you can navigate out of here, but they are standing in the most obvious direction that would lead out of the city. They're like 50 to 80 feet away, but they are staring straight at you, and and now that you're taking so long, they're going to start coming toward you.
All right, let's start walking away from them. Like,
Yeah, let's
try
just
to
book it
find a
into the-
secret.
Yeah, book in the other direction. Try to like get into the alleys or something.
Okay, I would like all of you to make a collective stealth roll.
Kay, why did you roll in that one? Why did you do that? Why did you cancel out my 20?
You know what? You know what? Ariazzi's is not stealthy. It's the horns and
Trip over your fucking antlers?
the horns, not antlers.
You all make an expeditious. You all try to are you running or are you just walking, trying to keep it together?
Nyla's just pretending that she didn't hear them. So she's brisk walking, but and trying to get stay to the shadows.
Briskly. Mm-hmm.
And Salvador, he has no head for something like this, so he's just doing what the rest of you do.
We have Sal by his collar.
I was like, okay. So you are all trying to briskly walk, and you keep hearing, "Hey, stop those livings!" And you round a corner, and Ariazzi's with your nat 1, you knock over an entire barrel, which sends dead fish scattering all over the street. And
Sorry.
Shiraka says, "Run!" And then he breaks out into a sprint.
Cool. Running.
Okay, let's run.
All right, so here's how this is going to work. You are going to roll a collective d20 plus your dexterity modifier versus the same rolls from the two ghoul guards who saw you.
Oh, fuck me.
Aha! Speaking of a nat 1, there we go. Your turn.
Fuck me.
Alrighty. Yeah, I was not anticipating all this failure, but it looks like someone's going to have to fight something.
Yeah, we are Crit Fail Club for a reason.
So you managed to get almost halfway out of the city, and these ghoul guards are very hot on your tail. You can see the big arching exit to the city, when suddenly, I guess it has to be Nyla, because Nyla's the one who rolled the nat 1.
Right.
Another denizen of the city who heard all of this commotion suddenly beans Nyla in the side of the head with what turns out to be a human skull.
Ah!
God.
And the ghouls get the jump on you. I guess everyone roll initiative.
Oh boy.
So yeah, the ghouls are going to get a surprise round on you. There are 2 of them total. One of them is going to leap forward onto you, Nyla, and it is going to slash all up in your grill. Does a 12 hit your AC?
No.
Alright, well, he's going to attack
Weirdly
you.
enough.
He's going to go ahead and just attack you again, won't he? But that's not going to do it either. So you've got a ghoul on you. It is screaming and slashing at you frantically. It's kind of distressing, but in his frenzy, he has not managed to hit you yet.
I just imagine I'm on the floor, crab walking frantically backward.
We're just like, okay.
Ariazis, you are next up in the order. So here's the immediate threats. You've got the
Okay.
ghoul on Nyla. You've got the second ghoul, who is standing about 30 feet away from you, who looks also quite murderous. And now you have this a growing crowd of denizens of Evernight who are all staring at you and getting just a real good look at you.
Yep. All
The
right.
obvious exit is behind you, but also Nyla is currently being assailed.
Right. There's lots of spells, but I worry they will hit Nyla, so I'm like, oh.
I've got disengage, so if you hit it, I will get the fuck up and out of there when
Okay, yeah, I guess I will hit it with Lushuga then, like with my staff. Just like run up and be like, boink!
Alright, roll the hit. 12 is a hit, so go ahead and roll damage, one-handed damage. Alright, you do 5 damage to ghoul number 1. It looks real hurt. Well, not really hurt, but they are just ghouls, so they take some damage. Next up in the order is Shiraka. Shiraka swears under his breath. He says, I usually prefer to keep a low profile. Shiraka is going to cast Fear. You cast a phantasmal image of a creature's worst fears. I don't know what a ghoul's worst fear is. Probably a larger
Right.
ghoul. And they have to
unicorn.
make a wisdom saving throw.
Ember Tremaine.
I was gonna say it's Ember Tremaine.
Paladin.
Okay, so the one behind you, Nyla, passes the save, but the one who is grappling you becomes frightened, and his hold on you loosens. And Shiraka says, "Don't fight them, just run!" And with that, he is going to take off toward the exit of the city. And then it is Nyla's turn. You are no longer grappled, Nyla, because of
Great.
Shiraka's fear.
Run!
Yeah, Nyla runs.
All right, Nyla runs after Shiraka. Ghoul 1 is still frightened. The only thing he can do is run, but in the opposite direction as all of you. So one of the ghoul guards, screaming, takes off into the forming crowd. And that is his turn. Ghoul 2, on the other hand, is going to probably yell in obscenities at the ghoul number 1 and follow you. The only ones that he can attack is... he's going to try to tackle... who's left? Ariazis is left. Sal is left. Selwyn. Who looks like an
And
easy
Sassy,
target?
presumably.
Oh yeah. No, he's not going to attack Sassy.
I know.
Sassy's
but
his
you needed
people's.
to mention Sassy.
Sassy is his people's. Sassy isn't
Right.
even in the initiative order. How little they care.
They're just sitting like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, pretty much literally. Okay, so who looks like the easy target? Probably Selwyn.
Oh wait,
Yeah. So he is going to.
wafy little goth girl.
All right. So you are going to take 2d6 plus 2 piercing damage.
Okay. As a reaction, I cast Shield, so I have a +5 bonus to my AC.
Okay. How long does that last?
1 round.
Okay, so he's going, in that case, he's going to attack you again. And nope, the shield flashes twice, and you manage to avoid taking any damage, much to the ghoul's dismay. Sal's like, run, run, run! He grabs your wrist, and it's his turn now. He grabs your wrist and he tries to pull you away from the city, and then it is your turn as well, after him.
Yeah, running after the rest.
So you go sprinting away. Well, let's get everyone out of the city. Ariazi's your next step in the order.
Yeah, running after them like, oh, okay.
All right, so you go sprinting out of Evernight, pursued, however briefly, by this one ghast. And as you are running, Shiraka is going to look over his shoulder. Let's see what he has to make a wisdom saving throw, and his wisdom mod is +0. A 9 is not going to save against it. So for the duration, the ghoul is charmed, which is a concentration. It ends his fear spell, but that's fine. The fear ghoul he's long gone. So it abruptly stops chasing you, and you head out. You run out. Probably by this point, by the time you manage to finally escape the clutches of Evernight, you are probably, well, Nyla, like the ones that are in better shape are probably not panting. Sal is panting. He has like no muscle mass whatsoever.
Okay.
Pre-serum Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
I was like, this is like Nyla's like regular day back in Baldur's Gate is like getting caught and having to make an elaborate.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Sal is definitely for sure panting. Shraka's fine, but it's by the time you manage to get far enough away to feel safe, you all take a moment to breathe, and Sal looks back and he's like, "So, I just realized that that was the way out. The way out was in Evernight. Remember?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. There was
Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That might make escaping a little more difficult.
Just a little.
Look. If anybody here knows how to sneak in and out of a city, it is me. We'll get it. We
Yeah,
got
but we're not all you, Nala, is the problem.
it. That is a problem. I frequently say to myself.
If only all these people were me.
Well, we'll figure something. We don't have time to think about that right now. We got bigger problems. We'll worry about one bridge at a time.
Shiraka says, well, at least we have a general idea of where it is we're going, and where we are going is quite substantially far away from Evernight.
Maybe if we wait long enough, they'll have forgotten.
Shiraka says, no, they will not. The ghoul guard in Evernight has a very good memory. Ghouls, you see, they when they're made together in the same batch, they all sort of have a groupthink. If any one of the gods will recognize you, all of them will recognize you. I'm afraid it is no longer safe for you to go to Evernight ever again.
Well,
Oh shit.
Fuck.
That's
not
something for
today's
future us to
problem.
worry about. Now we need to go where we need to go.
Sal is looking a little bit contrite. He's realizing that this is that consequence that Selwyn was talking about of, intervening.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, he doesn't look that guilty. Like, he looks like he would probably do it again.
Right, of course he would.
And you are reminded again that, wow, travel in the Shadowfell is just the pits. Like, everything, like, it takes so long to go anywhere in the Shadowfell. And before long, it feels like, objectively, it has only probably been, like, about an hour and a half on the road, but it feels like it's been a day. The only one who doesn't seem affected by this weird temporal shit is Shiraka, who has a sort of a spear that he's using as a walking stick. And he seems to be guiding the way forward. Mostly in silence. He's not a big talker.
does he have like? Okay, so he's got all the Raven stuff on him. Is anything?
We know where you're going with this.
We know. Yeah.
I have to. Okay, I've built it into the fucking character.
You did.
Does
Proceed.
anything look loose? Like Nyla could grab it.
No. It's pretty much just his cuirass, which has the big raven on the front.
She's looking at him, but she's just formulating a plan.
God.
Like you see Nyla like giving she'll like walk up to his side and just give him the side eye and then just like not say anything and sneak back.
Salvador, who has not seen this behavior in you yet, this compulsive raven stealing nonsense, just kind of smiles at you and assumes that you want to be his friend and you want to talk to him, but you're too nervous to do it.
Oh god, please don't introduce us. Please don't try to set us up.
Shiraka, as if striking up casual conversation, says, "So what, if I may ask, why did you intervene?"
That's a question for Sal. Sal, why did you intervene? Why do you always do this?
I did it because that'd be fun to pick the lock of that thing, and I gotta tell you, it was.
And you did a very good job, Nala. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. Nyla's beaming. She does actually like being complimented on her skills.
I intervened because these idiots did.
He says, "And to answer your question, Mr. Shiraka, well, we intervene because it's the right thing to do, you know? You gotta help people." And Shiraka stares at him just like there's no comprehension on his
Like
face.
he has no idea.
Yeah, it's
In
just
our
like...
defense, we tried to stop him, but he just doesn't want to leave people.
He says, he stares at you like he does not, like, is that an insult? Like, what, are you trying to, like, make a point? Because, yeah, that seems, yes, exactly, I'm not willing to leave people. Thank you for noticing.
She's more like trying to talk to Shiraka, like, I understand that expression completely. Like, I know what you're thinking. You feel that about him too.
Shiraka isn't speaking to you, like, patronizingly. Like, he seems genuinely curious. Like, the thought of being good just in helping people just because, like, that's never occurred to him before. And he says, well, it certainly is an interesting philosophical perspective, I suppose. He says, it's quite antithetical to this plane and everything on it, but I admit it's an interesting proposition.
If you're not thinking about taking that kind of thing up, I would just like to advise you that historically speaking, we have not had a lot of success with it.
He says, what are you talking about? We saved so many people with it.
And
Those
also
people in the cave, we saved all those people in the cave. And we saved those people just now from those ghouls. And, those people in that temple.
And we don't know that they didn't get caught again immediately after they got away.
Well, he says that's not the point, Selwyn. The point isn't, maximizing the long-term happiness of every single individual person we meet. It's about saving their life in the moment. Y'all really not understand that? Do you think I want to, follow around every single person I meet and make sure that they have a long, happy life with 2 kids and a dog? Is that what y'all think I'm doing?
Yeah.
That's exactly
I'm literally just trying to save their lives, y'all.
It feels a lot like the second one. Just from a practical standpoint. Are you saying that you wouldn't actually give everybody a dog if you could?
Well, not if some people are allergic to dogs. He says very matter-of-factly.
Well, that's their problem. I want a dog.
So like I said, this road it's already a long journey, and it's going to feel even longer because you're traveling in the Shadowfell.
Is there anything interesting about it? Or
Absolutely fucking nothing interesting about it. Thank you for asking. It's literally just this long road with sort of grayish, brownish, desiccated soil stretching in all directions. The only reason that you can't see forever is because there's usually a light fog obscuring things past 10 miles
so
away.
We can't see the next city or anything.
Nope. There are no next cities, even if you could.
Now I was gonna ask Shiraka, how far away is this place?
He says, well, it should be about a week's travel.
I'm sorry, what?
A week? Oh, how long has it been? It feels like a week already.
Yeah, it already feels like it's been a week.
She's
Shiraka,
gonna complain are we there yet?
Shiraka says, yes, that's an artifact of the Shadowfell. Time dilation. If you're brought up in it like I was, you're mostly immune to the effect, but I'm afraid for you it will feel quite a lot longer.
It does. I hate it. I hate this plane.
I'm usually fine with this stuff, but I do have to say I've been feeling kind of weird. Less charitable.
What?
Less.
Have feelings of charity? When?
Upon occasion, I have feelings of charity, but I have to tell you right now, I got none.
Sal says, but you just did a whole big wonderful thing helping a whole bunch of people escape.
I'm mostly... Sal, I don't mean to... Okay, you're right. Thanks, Sal.
He's very proud of you, and he hugs you with one arm.
She's she's trying not to say why she actually did it.
Sal assumes the best in people and is like, oh, you did it because you're a good person.
Of course.
Not because you were bored.
So the road is, God, it's so long. By the time you finally set up to rest, it feels like you've been walking for at least 3 weeks. But Shiraka sets up camp, and so he's not a great travel companion, generally speaking, and this is probably the worst plane to travel with a bad traveling companion on. Sal, by the way, is trying extra hard to make this whole situation bearable. He's singing a whole bunch of campfire songs, desperately trying to keep his spirits up. I will say Shiraka does mostly keep his mask off. It seems like it's a courtesy in in crowded places where everyone is going to be seeing him, but when it's just with, small groups, he usually keeps the mask off because it's hot and stuffy and shit. And now that he does have his mask off, he does seem to be looking at you more and more, Selwyn, he's really trying to remember where he's seen you before.
Ariazi's just glaring at him why is he doing that?
Has he taken off his cuirass yet?
Oh, come on.
No, he's not taken off his cuirass.
Okay. Nyla's going to watch. I just want you to tell me what he does. Or if he does.
He probably is not. He's probably not going to. The only reason I can think he would take it off is to take a substantial bath, but there's nowhere to take a bath on
right
on the long road.
Nyla dumps her water skin on his head.
No, don't do that.
Oh, Shiraka, you spilled all your water. Oh no!
Oh, no.
I guess now you just have to take off all your clothes. Oh,
Shiraka's are you hitting on me?
I know, Ariazi is disgusted, I didn't know that was your type.
He says,
it's not my I don't have a type.
Listen, I'm flattered, but I usually prefer men, so it's really...
That's not...
Ariazi's perks up at that and is oh, you prefer men? What type of men exactly?
He stares at...
I kind of give you a side eye, what?
Shiraka turns his what the fuck gaze from Nyla straight over to Ariazi's.
So... What kind of man do you like?
I like the kind of man who I don't have to tell other people about.
Okay. Good talk.
That's a good answer.
Sal says, I like pretty man. And also large, masculine men. And I'm just very gay. He says, like, I just like lots of
Ariel
types.
just pats him like, it's okay, we know.
He says, yeah, they know.
Maybe Ariazes could like settle up and be like, why does he keep looking at you?
I don't know.
I don't like it. I
Sal
don't
says,
like him.
hey, Shiraka, why are you staring at her?
Oh my god, Sal, shut up.
Shiraka says, I'm sorry, I don't mean to stare. It's just, I cannot shake the feeling that I've seen you somewhere before.
How can that be though? I mean, never been to the Shadowfell.
He says, well, you know, the souls of elves are reincarnated consistently into other bodies upon death. Perhaps you're a reincarnation of something. Someone that I knew once.
Point of order, did I actually know that?
I mean, if you really want to, you can roll plus Arcana to see what you know about elvish souls. Yeah, you know about it. You rolled
Yeah, I know it.
You rolled a 24. So the reason that elves are so rare in the multiverse is because there are a limited number of elvish souls. When they die, well, theoretically, they're all called back to Coralon, the god of elves, and Coralon sends them back down into the plains to be reborn into another soul. This process can happen with other species and other gods, but it mostly happens with elves. And yeah, that's why people think your family is cursed, Selwyn, because you had such a big family. It's like a lot of elves had to die for your family to form, even though that's not exactly how it works. But there's enough of a stigma
Right.
that people associate big family with huge amounts of death.
Gnarly.
So yeah,
And then I went and became a necromancer. Yeah, okay, I could see that.
yeah, but it is perfectly possible that your soul is a reincarnation of some kind. You've never really thought of it before, but it is definitely possible.
Okay.
He says, although, I don't know, if I knew you, you would probably be a Shadar-kai. I don't associate much with elves from outside the Shadowfell.
Well, could somebody who was a Shadar-kai become a different kind of elf when they're reincarnated?
He shakes his head. He says, when an elf dies, their soul will go with either Coralon, for the elves who are good aligned, Lolth for the drow mostly, and those who are evil aligned, or the Shadar-kai will go with the Raven Queen and will be reborn through one of those three gods. And he says, if you are a Shadar-kai, you will always be a Shadar-kai.
While we rest, it doesn't have to be part of this conversation, but Nyla's gonna be sitting with Sal trying to get him to teach her more Elvish because she's very tired of y'all talking.
This is a absolutely great opportunity because every minute feels like an hour. And you get a lot of progress in learning Elvish. You go from not knowing the difference between the noun for elf and the noun for tomato, and being able to conjugate an imperfect past tense. You get a really big leap of skills, and I think by the time you get to the destination, I'm gonna let you add Elvish to your list of languages.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'd like to say that Selwyn is definitely helping with that. First, because they had been helping earlier, but also because it's a good opportunity to keep spirits up, and it's fun to be able to occasionally laugh when you conjugate something so badly, but then correct it and you manage to pronounce
it's a group
it right.
effort.
But Sal is trying to get everyone involved because he wants to make sure Nyla hears a bunch of different Elvish accents. Selwyn and Sal, they both have a high elf accent, but Ariasi's got the wood elf accent, and Shiraka, he sounds like no elf any of you have ever heard of before. So it's good practice to talk to him in Elvish as well.
Nyla spends a lot of time cursing.
Of course.
Actually, no, that's a good point, because I would assume she asks Sal to take to curse words and he won't do it.
Oh, Sal will do it.
Okay, great.
I know more than he does.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Sal is like a perfect little church boy. He knows 4 swears and he uses them very sparingly. He's a good boy and you all are sinners.
We're all like, oh, that's so cute. Anyway, this is how you say.
I think so. After she's done with her lesson, she like goes over to Ariazi Zoe and she's like, okay, so well, how do you say fuck though? Because that's important.
Well, okay, so there's like different iterations, because like if you're talking about like the actual act, then it's this. But if you're doing,
Nyla's never
then it's that.
taken. Like she's always been kind of interested and she's like learning, but now she's taking frantic notes.
Frantic notes, yeah.
Sal,
And then when
who
we're in the
cannot handle
forest, this is what
anything
we
super
say.
blue, is in the corner like, oh my god, we should not be teaching her this.
She's also gonna go to Shiraka and ask him if he has any special curse words, like special Shadowkai
Shadowkai
curse
words.
words.
Well, the only curses that I know are literal curses that can curse your enemies. He says, I don't know, you don't seem like a skilled enough spellcaster to be able to use any of them.
As he says that, she's like, well, can you do this? And she casts Mage Hand and doesn't do anything.
Yes, very impressive.
Thank you.
I don't think he actually meant that, Nyla.
Don't care.
He says, by the way, why do you keep staring at my chest? Again, have to emphasize, not interested in women.
Okay, well, first off, I'm not interested in men. So you know what? You just calm down there.
That
sir.
is a comfort, I must admit.
Ariasis is already like laughing in the background.
Look, I have a thing where I just really like ravens a lot. I really like them, and it's just right on your chest, and it's very hard not to. I don't know. I have a kinship with ravens, one might say.
He pauses for a minute and he says, if I give you a trinket, will you stop trying to steal it from me?
Much more giggling in the background.
What if you let me steal it from you?
I would be. I cannot allow you to steal a thing from me. Either I can give it to you, or you can steal it. That's the nature of the verb.
I just feel better about. Okay, fine, you can give it to me.
And he says, you really have to not, though. You have to stop staring eerily at my chest, and I need you to stop staring at the laces like you're figuring out how to cut them. It's very disconcerting.
It's
okay.
very nice lace work, by the way.
Thanks.
I agree. I do like trinkets.
He says, do you promise to not stare at it anymore? Please?
I promise to try real hard.
That's basically a yes from her.
He sighs and he says, I regret this immediately. He reaches, so he's kind of wearing like thick fingerless gloves, but they're cut off at like the first knuckle rather than down at the palm. Mm-hmm. And he pulls the glove off and he is wearing a ring. It's a thick silver ring with a carving of a raven on it. And he hands it to you and he says, on the condition that you stop eyeing my armor. I need my armor.
Nyla cackles gleefully and she like holds it up to the light like she's appraising it. Also, she bites it.
So this ring, it is magical. It is not extremely magical. You have plenty of time to attune to it. It feels like you have an entire year to attune to it. So this, I'll copy and paste the description.
Oh my god, this is my favorite thing I've ever gotten.
So yes, for our listeners at home, it's called Ring of the Raven. Summon a raven companion that can communicate with you telepathically for up to 8 hours. Travels more than 1 mile away from you, it vanishes. So yeah, that's how Shiraka was able to use the crow was able to notify him of danger.
This is the coolest thing.
You can give it basic commands like, put it on watch. You can send it scouting ahead of you. And it can communicate with you telepathically. Like, it's not sentient, so it can really, you can't have like a sustained conversation with it, but it can get across basic ideas.
Nyla's doing a Gollum thing right now.
Like my precious. Oh, it's a good idea because she likes shiny things and she likes ravens.
And Shiraka's like, and again, on the condition that you stop covetously staring at my armor. I need my armor.
Yes, absolutely, no problem. She's like not even paying attention to him.
He just kind of sighs and is like, I'll just let her have it. So again, cannot stress enough, this trip is the longest thing you've ever been on. You feel like you aged 10 years.
Like, Sal, please stop singing that song. I'm so sick of it.
So it's like, but if I don't sing, I feel like I'm gonna go crazy because I hate this plane and everything on it, and I gotta stay positive. I gotta stay happy.
It's true. I also hate everything about it. But who has different songs?
Nyla reluctantly breaks down and is like, I know a couple halfling songs.
Everyone is like, oh!
I would love to hear them, Miss Nyla.
Oh, God.
So I've been doing a lot of research into halflings, and, like, Nyla is not a good example of her species.
No.
At all.
No.
Most halflings are, like, delightful and charming, and,
Right.
like,
Nyla's
they're
like,
just...
no.
They're just great.
There's a reason that Nyla doesn't live with her family. So, like, she definitely grew up with, like, way too many songs. She has, like, 5 siblings. So, she grew up with, like, tons of, like, kumbaya songs. This might have been a bad idea. She breaks into a rousing, like, tavern song.
Sal loves it. He is enraptured, and he is trying to learn it as quickly as possible.
She, like, finishes and she goes, you probably really like my family.
I bet I would if they made someone as nice as you, and he, like, ruffles your hair.
Oh,
Oh,
gosh.
God. Oh, God.
As you all are having this conversation, by the way, it's like technically it's only like day 3 or 4, but it feels like it's day 80. Like, you feel like
Right.
you've been fucking living on this road for the past 200 years. But as you're having this conversation, Shiraka is staring up at the sky, and he says, I think we need to find shelter.
Oh.
What's up with it?
The storm's coming in.
What are storms like here?
How will we find shelter?
He stands up and he looks around. I would like all of you to roll survival or perception, whichever is higher. Whoa! Dirty
Nice.
20. Whoa! Selwyn!
Wow.
Bad news. Everything in the Shadowfell, it feels like, is just like this flat, dry, desiccated earth. With, like, there's no life. It's just literally a road through nothingness. But the good news is that Selwyn fucking rolled a 19 with +4. So a 23, and you see very, very far in the distance, almost completely obscured by mist, there is this very low-lying cave, sort of built into a rocky outcropping.
I think there's a cave up ahead.
Shiraka's head swivels toward the source of it. He says, we have to get there quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
He immediately sets off and sounds like, oh, okay, he was like just starting to build the fire. But yeah, you have to go off the road. And it takes you, like a couple minutes to make it all the way over there. And as it does, Shiraka keeps walking quicker and quicker. And you suddenly behind you hear this peal of thunder that cracks through the plane, and the ground literally shakes under your feet for the sound of it. And the lightning, it flashes violet instead of white. And he quickly heads into the cave just as it starts to sheet rain. And you barely make it underneath the mouth of this cave, and you can see it's either like sort of like dust or smoke that's rising up off the dry, desiccated ground the moment the rain hits it. And Shiraka says, we have to stay in this cave for a while until the storm passes.
It just gets better and better here, doesn't it?
Is it like acid rain? What kind of rain is this?
He says, it's better if you don't find out.
Yeah, sure, tell that to me. I'm curiosity and cats and all that.
Don't go outside, Selwyn.
I won't.
He starts setting up a little campfire. So this cave, it's pretty small. There's a wide portion that's in the shallow part of the cave. There are some little crevices and cracks that go deeper into darkness that you cannot see. But he sets up a fire right near the mouth of the cave. Far away from the line of the rain, however. He is keeping his distance.
So you said there's nothing else in the cave, right?
Nothing that you can see. There are some little tunnels and things that turn off into darkness. But in the majority of this big open area near the mouth, there's nothing.
Nyla's gonna go over to the rest of, no, not the rest of she's not gonna go to Sal. She's gonna go to Ariazes and Selwyn and be like, I am uncomfortable with being in a cave where we don't know what's in the rest of a cave. So who's coming with me?
Sal's like, I'll come with you.
Yep, we're not gonna let you go about your business alone.
And I was gonna grab, somebody should stay watch at the front of the cave, but
Shiraka can watch the front of the cave. He seems
Yeah.
intent on building the fire.
Okay.
So you all set to exploring the cave. There are two main arteries going off the cave. The one on the left is very shallow. You search around, there's nothing. The one on the right, I'd like you all to roll perception.
Oh!
Pew, 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 pew.
Nice.
Nyla. So when you first enter the second artery of the room, you think, this one is empty too. But the longer you stare at this one particular rock formation, you can't help but notice you think it might be breathing.
Niall's gonna act chill, and she's gonna, come, mosey back to the other ones and be like, don't look now, but I think that rock is breathing.
It does look like it's breathing.
Anybody know any kind of rock monsters?
I can speak with animals, but I don't think it's an animal if it's a rock.
Thank you for that biology lesson.
To get a reading on what it might be, you'd have to get closer and really inspect it.
Oh.
Who wants to do that?
Me.
Sneaky one.
Nice. Nyla's gonna put her cloak up and try to, sneak up around the sides. So she's not gonna, directly approach it, but try to, stay in, the shadows of the cave. I mean, I'm not sure how helpful that is. There's not really...
Like I said, if you really want to investigate it, you have to get really, really close.
Right up on it?
The only reason you saw it is because you rolled a nat 20.
Mm-hmm.
If you had not rolled that 20, you would think it's just a rock formation.
Okay. Well, shit. I mean, we can't just... If it's a breathing rock, that's a bad sign. I'm gonna poke it. I'm gonna take out my rapier and poke it.
With the sword, really?
Yes. I just want to see what it does.
The rock grunts.
Ah!
Nyla, what are you doing?
The rock shifts.
See what would happen.
The rock turns around.
No!
Oh,
It has...
Why we can't leave you alone?
It has 6 yellow eyes, and it is staring directly at you, Nyla, with every single one of them.
Hello!
No, don't talk to it.
Was that in any language that I recognize?
It was not.
Okay. Maybe if you stand really still.
It kind of shifts and it sits up. This thing is huge, size classification large. It is sort of hunched over because the cave is kind of small, but it looks like it's maybe 12 feet tall.
Oh, nice.
Oh god. Oh god.
Yes, hello. Sorry for disturbing you. It was Nyla's fault. You can eat her first.
That's not very charitable.
Yossis!
I'm just saying that she deserves to die first.
No, she doesn't!
Absolutely she does. She touched it. She woke it up.
You're such a garbage monster. Nyla's... It's a rock. I feel like if I try to attack it...
No, to be clear, it's not a rock. When it was lying with its back facing you, it looked almost indistinguishable from a rock. But now that you're really close to it, it does have skin. Really thick, gray, leathery skin.
Okay, I'm just gonna try to back up and see if maybe it goes back to sleep.
It does not go back to sleep. It is kind of staring at you, though. Slowly, it sort of pads its way after you. Sal says, guys?
Yeah?
Have you noticed how it has not attacked us?
I know.
It's
Which
like
is
a
weird.
dog following
I did
Nyla.
poke it. I did poke it with a stick.
Which was
Sword.
a mistake.
What if we try to talk to it again?
I don't think it can talk, but maybe it wants to play fetch.
Can I make an Arcana check to see if I know what kind of a creature this is?
Whether it be Arcana or nature
or whatever. I guess that would probably be nature.
It doesn't really. I'm using Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. Shameless plug. It's a good book. You should buy it if you play D&D.
I can roll nature.
Arcana or nature. Yeah, whichever one is higher. Whoever wants to roll. Wow,
Nice.
you both rolled really well.
Yay!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now that you are really... It kind of plods toward you, and every step, by the way, shakes the entirety of the cave. And it keeps, sniffing around Nyla, and then as Nyla backs up toward the rest of you, it sniffs around the rest of you. And you both recognize this is a gray render. Gray renders, don't get it twisted, they are very, very dangerous. They're CR12. But they are also not immediately inclined to attack, at least not necessarily. They have a tendency to bond very, very strongly with one person.
Oh,
But they are also very temperamental. They're difficult to control. And also, they're fucking huge. Like, where are you going to take this?
Everywhere. I want a rock pet.
So, with my role, would I know if it spoke any, or like if I could speak?
It
to
does not
advanced
speak language.
It
It does not speak language at all. It's Intmodus -4.
Okay. All right.
It keeps sniffing around you, and now it's like right up in your grill. It smells pretty bad, but it is like, again, it's not attacking. It goes from sniffing Nyla to sniffing Selwyn, and then kind of over to Ariazis and Sal, like just kind of sniffing around you.
okay, that's weird.
Nyla puts out her hand. That's a very loud noise. That's a very loud noise.
Said it?
It does not understand what those words mean. It does not understand words.
Hey, Sal, can we like make some food or something for it? Like, distract it?
Sal's like, I mean, I guess they want me to make food. I don't know if it eats like bread.
Yeah, we don't know what it is. Don't do that.
I don't know.
Summon a bootload of carbs.
Like, the only other thing that Selwyn can think of is just like playing on their bone pipes, and that's
we definitely shouldn't attack it.
No, I agree.
So,
Not
you
do
woke
anything.
it up, and
What
it's
if we
not
just-
attacking,
what if
but
we just
also it's
Try
really
to
big.
back up more, like
Worth
out
a
of the
shot?
cave.
Well, we can't go out of the cave yet. Rain.
Not out of the cave, but just outside. Just like keep walking back towards we came.
Back to Shiraka, like, hey, check out what we found.
Maybe Shiraka will know what to do.
Shiraka, what the fuck?
Is that what you guys do?
Sure.
Yeah.
You slowly start to back away, and it follows.
He's like a dog.
I had a pet like this one time, but it was a lot smaller.
So you back into the main artery of the cave, and Shiraka casually is like, so what did you find? Oh my god!
This is why we
We're
don't let Nyla
trying.
go alone.
We're trying not to spook it.
Arrgh!
Do you know
We
how
kind of
to-
noticed.
Do you know what to do with giant rock monsters?
Says, well, first, it's not a rock monster, it's just rock colored.
Oh, well.
She poked it with a sword and woke it up.
Lightly.
says- and
I lightly poked it with a sword.
And he says, to answer your question, no, I don't know what to do with it.
How do we get it to go back to sleep? Do you have a spell for that, Selwyn?
No.
The
Who
Grey
can-
Render, by the way, is now sniffing around you specifically, Ariazis, because you smell like woods and outside and
Yeah.
moss.
I do have animal handling, but it's not an animal. It's a gray ray.
It is, like I said, it is classed as a monstrosity, but it's still, like, it's closer to an animal than it is to a human.
Animal
so
handling.
if you wanted to make
I
an
guess
animal
I could roll
handling
animal
check,
handling, see what happens.
you could roll.
Like, okay, I'll try.
That's like such a niche skill, I feel like. I've never used it, but this is great.
Right? Like, all right.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
19.
+7?
Yeah,
I
plus
told
that.
you, druid.
She's a druid, yeah.
I have proficiency in it.
Nice.
So, describe to me how you think to tame, or you, like, to mollify this creature. What does Ariazis do?
I feel like she's just gonna like let it sniff around and then like slowly put her hand out and then be like, let it sniff like her hands and then maybe try to touch it. I don't know.
Where do you touch it?
Forehead, whatever. Yeah,
Between
the eyes.
Forehead is a bold assumption.
Right, it is a bold. All right, fine. Whatever is sniffing. I don't know the side.
The moment you put your hand on its skin, well, first of all, its skin is weirdly warm. Not soft, very rough,
Yeah.
but pleasantly warm. And the moment you put your hand on it, all 6 of its eyes light up. And immediately it nudges its whole weight into your hand, which knocks you over onto your ass.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's so
Are you
heavy.
okay?
Also, it's really weird and warm.
And the moment you fall over, it immediately crawls over you and starts nuzzling its head into your shoulder.
Okay, so I think Yep, I have a child now, you guys. It's true.
How did you do that? Why are you making friends with monsters?
She rolled a 19 on her animal handling
Because I
check. What do you
rolled a
want from
19.
me?
I mean, no, it's fair.
It is kind of cute in a really ugly sort of way, which is kind of what I like anyway. Yeah, she just like pats it like, yep, that sure is loud right in my face, thanks.
It curls up right next to you.
Great. All right. So that happened.
This is the weirdest day we've had in a very long time. Is it gonna follow us outside the cave? It's got a lot of eyes.
Don't talk to my son like that. His eyes are fine.
It curls up right around you, Ariazis, and falls asleep.
Great. Now I'm stuck forever. Bye, guys. Good night, I guess.
You were willing to let me die at the hands of this thing, so you know what? I don't feel that bad.
True. Then I still would let him eat you. He is my son now, after all.
Rude. Nyla turns to Shiraka and is like, is this something that happens?
Shiraka says, no.
Okay.
I've only read about renders. I've never seen one in person.
They're not generally this friendly.
This is, well, I mean, they do, from what little I know about them, they do have a tendency to bond strongly with one person. But they are not they are not pets. I want to be perfectly clear. They are not pets.
Good, I don't want it as a pet.
They are very powerful and dangerous. It will bond strongly to one person, but anything else is fair game to it.
Ooh, I don't like that.
So I can ride it, and the rest of you have to walk.
And hope we don't get eaten.
Hopefully, yeah. Maybe I can convince it to stay in the cave, like I'm gonna be right back, except I never come back.
Oh.
I could lie to it.
Oh.
Jesus.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard of. God.
That's not chaotic neutral, that's chaotic evil.
That's just straight evil. Nyla wouldn't do that.
I can't come back. You want me to bring it back to, like, the regular plane? Come on.
We can find it at home. Like, this is a little too creepy for me. I'm gonna go take a nap on the other side of the room.
Sounds
Please
fair.
Please don't let the monster eat me.
I will do my best, but I make no guarantees because this is my first time with this kind of thing.
Okay, great. She goes into the corner and tries to go to sleep.
So congratulations, Ariazis. This gray render has bonded to you.
I'm so happy and confused.
Apparently you're not that happy. You want to leave it to die.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
she
God,
was
that's
like,
so
maybe.
bad.
No, that's sad. I like it.
It has this much going for it. It is very warm. It is weirdly cozy.
I don't know how to deal with this. So
Okay, go to sleep.
I'm not gonna. That's the current plan.
Shiraka is like dealing with like two, like number one, there's just a gray render now apparently, and but mostly he is watching outside, like he is staring at the rain, like he's worried about it. He seems more concerned about the rain than he does about the gray render.
I think Selwyn is probably going to go over, once we've established that the Grey Render is not going to attack or anything, and I'm just going to kind of go stand next to him and see if I can find out anything more about this horrible, horrible rain. So can you describe again what it looked like when it was...
The only thing different about this storm that is immediately visible is the lightning is violet, instead of white or blue. And it is causing this weird smoke to rise up off the dry soil.
So, is it because it's the Shadowfell that the lightning is odd-colored?
He says, well, storms like this will only appear in the Shadowfell. I don't know much about the specific nature of it, but I know that they're not going to appear anywhere else. It is an artifact of this plane. He says, if you're really that curious, feel free to walk into it. Just be sure to come back inside as quickly as you can. I would not recommend it, however.
I feel like I poke out the edge of my staff into the rain just to see, like, if it's, like I said, acid rain or what's going on.
Nope. Your staff is fine. It gets wet.
I'm like, oh my god, rain makes things wet.
I feel like as you're having this conversation with Shiraka, in the background, Sal is like trying to see if they can play with the gray render. Like he's hunting through his pack. Like, do I have like a ball of yarn? Would it like a ball of yarn?
And Ariazis is like, when a cat curls up, it's like I'm forbidden from moving. This is like the way of the land, and I'm going to live here forever now.
Great news! I live here now.
So, are you concerned about something coming out of the rain?
He says, I'm worried about the cave flooding.
Oh, yeah, that... yeah, Okay.
It would be a little more than just uncomfortable. We should name him.
He just said it's not the pet, but I also do want to name him. Do you have ideas?
So I was like, I don't know. I mean, he's big and gray and loud.
Yeah, we should just call him Big Gray Loud.
Well,
Based
what
on
else?
that description.
What else is big and gray and loud? And then right as he says that, there's this peal of thunder through the air.
A storm, a thundercloud.
What about Stormy?
We did find him in a storm.
We
It does
did,
kinda fit.
and he's big and gray and loud.
Exactly. I
And
like
Stormy's
it.
like, oh!
Strangely, I like it.
Already named.
Yeah, you're Stormy. Great.
Oh!
Loud like the outside. Then smells really bad.
Yeah, he does not smell great.
So, aside from the obvious drowning,
He kind of
what-
sighs and he says, it's called a storm of memories. And like I said, you can go out if you want to, although if your life has been particularly challenging, I'd recommend against it.
Memories.
Uh, huh.
How long do these storms last?
Yeah.
You want to ask that?
Shiraka says, could be a few hours, could be up to a week. It depends.
Ugh,
Another week?
In this cave?
I hate this plane. Did I say that already? Because I hate it.
I don't really like this cave.
This would be a good chance to prepare some spells, though.
Yeah, this is
That
definitely
is-
a
that
long
is
rest.
true. During this time, like, it's like, all right, since I can't move, I'm just going to, I guess, meditate and get new spells because it's just curled around me. This is fine.
You can't do much else.
Right, exactly.
I will say, as the majority of the group is asleep, or, well, Shiraka trances, he's an elf.
Yeah.
But when it gets really quiet, Stormy yawns really, really loudly, and then just sort of wanders out into the rain.
Stormy?
Nope, he's
Oh
already.
no, my
he's,
son is going out in the rain!
He's trotting off.
Oh, okay.
I guess Ariaz's will follow, like, no, come back!
You go outside,
Yeah, go outside in the rain, like, come back!
make a wisdom save.
Alright.
Not good enough.
God.
So Ariazis, you run out into the rain,
Like,
and
come back, my son!
you are immediately drenched, and you slow to a stop almost against your will as a peal of thunder shakes the ground. And suddenly, you are about 9 years old. And standing all around you are some of the elves that you recognize, not from the Circle of the Moon, not from Qatar's circle. They're from another circle. And you can hear them talking. One of them is looking at you, but they are talking about you as if you are not even there. One of them to your right says, I cannot believe Qatar took it in. The one next to her says, I know. It's astonishing and viscerally disgusting at the same time that he would burden himself with it.
Okay. She's like, it? I'm not an it?
One of them seems to notice that, and finally turns to face you directly, and she says, if you're not an it, then why, and she kind of reaches out and she pokes the end of your horn, do you appear like an it? I have fought and slain devils before, you know.
I didn't ask to look like this.
He stands up a little straighter and he says, and how unfortunate that is for you, because who would ever choose to look like that? As all this is happening, by the way, what you see from the cave is nothing but Ariazi suddenly standing very still in the rain. Is there any physical reaction that they would be able to see in Ariazi's?
Yeah, she would have, like, grabbed her horn, like, don't touch me.
You see her reach up and grab her horn sort of defensively.
I'm asleep. There's no way I'm awake.
No,
God,
it's-
of course, the drama's happening and you're asleep.
I was gonna say, Selwyn saw Ariadne's run out into the rain and is definitely going to run to follow.
Make a
More
whiz
wisdom
save.
saves.
Yep. I know.
Don't touch my horn.
Not
Oh
good enough.
boy. Oh boy.
Yep.
So you run out into the rain, and suddenly you are probably like a young teenager, like a very young teenager. Your mother has just given birth to your second youngest sibling, a sister. She is still exhausted. She literally just gave birth, so she is tired.
Yeah.
And you can see the midwife fussing over the swaddled infant who is now sitting in a bassinet by the birthing bed. And outside, you're in the halls of healing in your childhood home, and outside the door there are healers passing back and forth outside the door, and they keep looking in and muttering things to themselves. You and a couple of your siblings are there, and the midwife heads over to your mother's bedside, and she says, "You have to stop this." And she looks over her shoulder at the healers that are passing and still muttering, and she says, "You are bringing a curse on this family, on this tribe. You have to stop." And your mother looks very, very tired, and she says, "I cannot, I can't control it. These things just happen." And she says, "Do you have no consideration for everyone who lives in this community? You are bringing darkness upon us. Think of all the souls that have had to die to fill this family of yours." How is Selwyn feeling at this moment?
Angry, honestly. Because I feel like I've probably already been through this at least once. Leave her alone. Even if that's how you feel.
Hush, child. This is an adult conversation. She turns her attention back to your mother. The midwife returns to your mother and she says, "You have no consideration for the community. You are bringing death to our people." And your mother doesn't answer. She's so tired. She just spent, 8 hours in labor. And she kind of slumps back onto the bed and just keeps breathing.
I stomp my foot and I go, "We're not bringing death, we're bringing life."
She turns around, the midwife turns around to face you and she says, "And how do you imagine that life was made?" "The souls of elves are limited," she says, looking very deliberately at your mother. "For each one born, another must die. Every single one of your siblings, child, is an omen of death."
"Well, then so are you."
She says, "At least my mother had the courtesy to only bring one into the world." And she turns and storms out. As this is happening, suddenly you feel a hand on your shoulder and jerk you both away. You turn around, and you are back standing in the rain. And Salvador is standing between you with a hand on each of your shoulders. He's like, "Are you guys okay? Come in. Get out of the water. Get out of the rain."
I kind of shake myself. How are you okay?
What is happening?
Get into the cave, y'all. Jeez. And he steers and pushes you in. Shiraka just literally said, "Don't go into the storm," and then y'all literally just go into the storm immediately. Y'all call me stupid. Jeez.
How are you okay?
What do you mean? What were you even doing?
Reliving some terrible things.
Yeah, I just kind of shudder and just clench my hand at the thought of it. Just the ineffectual feeling still lingering a little.
Salvador wrings out his hair.
Do you not feel anything, Sal?
What do you mean? What am I supposed to feel?
You didn't see anything?
No.
Okay. We're back in the cave now, yeah?
Yeah, you are out of the storm. And by the way, as you are all, asking sounds like, "What happened?" Stormy comes back. He has a dead tree in his mouth.
Well, good boy, I guess.
Vegetarian?
He you don't know that for sure. He tries to enter the cave, but the dead tree is too wide.
Oh, no.
And he keeps doing that thing where you just hear,
I know, just like a dog, I can't go through. Oh, God.
He can't get it through.
Oh, dear. Maybe if you turn... she's trying to show him if you turn sideways.
Yeah, he does not get that at all. Eventually he just pushes forward and then you hear this huge crack sound.
It'll just break
and then
down.
the ends of the trees break off and he happily trots inside and sits down and starts chewing on the tree.
Okay, that worked. All right, good job. Good boy, I guess.
Sounds like, "Are you two okay?"
Not
You look
really.
kind of weird.
Yeah.
I feel kind of weird.
Nyla wakes up with a big yawn and is like, "What are y'all doing?
Being idiots.
Why are you so wet?
They went out into the storm.
Why did you go in the storm?
I don't know.
Stormy! He just ran away!
You just chased after. He's a monster. He'll be okay. Why is there a tree?
Don't ask why. My son can have a tree. Let him have a tree. Shush. I feel like Ariadne is still without even realizing it, still touching her horn
Sal doesn't know what to do, so he goes back to his default and he hugs you.
and she just hugs him back okay. Nothing happened? You didn't feel anything at all?
No, what are you talking about? What did you feel?
It was awful.
Terrible, yeah, pretty terrible.
I
He
mean, like, in
keeps staring at
retrospect, it makes sense, but
They can see why they call it a storm of memory. It's a storm of bad memories, the worst.
it
Sure.
makes sense in this place.
Shiraka says, yeah, I did try to warn you. No one ever listens to the native.
Look, I'm not letting her go out alone into this storm.
How'd it work out for you?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
You shouldn't.
Thanks for your help.
You shouldn't have followed me, Selwyn.
Did not seem to go well for anybody except for Sal, who I
Yeah,
suppose
Sal
isn't that
seems-
weird.
Sal seems
Yeah,
fine.
seems to be
I
fine.
mean, I think we know why Sal is the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense, Sal.
Sal
but
rubs
you
his
don't
arm.
have a lot of memories.
But I do! I mean, I think I do.
Well, you don't know how many you don't have. That's the problem.
But I mean, I remember my childhood. I grew up in the palace with my father, and he squints like he's trying to remember some detail of his life, but he can't grasp anything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, we don't have to talk about this, but yeah, that's not normal.
He stomps his foot in frustration. Is like, I have memories. I just don't remember what they are.
Well, okay.
He sits
The
down
thing is-
sulkily at the fire.
Yeah, it was pretty immediate when I went out. Immediately, it happened, and I remembered.
I guess maybe this means that Sal's worst memory he can't remember?
Or that none of his memories are real.
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Yeah, I understand that, Sal. I really do. But it also is probably pretty important. I mean,
It is. It affected both me and Selwyn, but you were fine.
I don't want to
Why?
talk about this anymore.
Yeah, Selwyn kind of fidgets, not really wanting to think about it either. 'Cause,
Behind you, there's a
know,
huge crunch as Stormy breaks the tree in half again.
I jump about a foot in the air.
Oh boy. Alright. Yep. Good boy. Yep.
He doesn't seem to be eating it. He seems to be chewing it like it's like a rawhide.
Where did it get a tree? Isn't there no vegetation?
There were dead trees all over. I mean, not all over, but
Shiraka says creatures native to the Shadowfell don't have the same trouble traversing it. By the time you all collectively wake up, it has stopped raining. The ground is still a little wet, but yep, no more storm. No more. It's not sunny.
Yeah, of course not.
yeah, it's never sunny.
Nyla stops at the mouth of the cave and she's like, someone should go out and test it. Just curiosities. Could you just go out first and just make sure
You know
it's not
what?
raining?
I did that already, and she pushes Nyla out like, I think it's your turn.
Make a wisdom
gonna
save.
say.
No. No, you don't have to make a wisdom save. You shove Nyla out the door and nothing happens.
Nyla sprawls awkwardly on the ground and is just like, well, that was rude.
Oh my
So
gosh.
rude.
Ariazis, you should not push.
I went last time, and I had the horrible vision, so maybe it's her turn.
Well, whose fault was that? I listened to our very smart elf person.
You were
over there.
asleep.
Shiraka
Right.
is stamping out the fire and he's like, only halfway there, huh?
He's like, God, I hate my life.
Did he really just say halfway? Oh, shit.
Yep. Only about halfway there.
Mhm.
And the moment you leave the cave, Ariazis, Stormy follows. He is right at your heels.
Oh boy. Here we go, guys.
Roar!
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I have to leave. We got to go.
This is not a very
Stormy
quiet
follows.
monster.
Nope, not smart, and he's going to follow us, I
Oh,
guess.
no. So if we have any kind of stealthiness, it's going to have to be happening.
Nope.
There are a lot of
Only-
drawbacks to having, like you now have like a CR12 monster on your side, but there are a lot of drawbacks.
It could
He
come in
likes me.
handy, I guess, as long as it doesn't try to eat us.
It's a thing. We'll think about what to do with him as we go, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Just do everything like we usually do, on the fly.
So now
Yeah,
you
that's
have
never
this
backfired.
massive gray render just following you around. Some interesting things that Stormy does. Anytime he sees a tree, he rips it out of the ground.
Okay.
Whenever anyone who's not him touches Ariazis, he roars really, really loudly.
And you're like, okay.
Also, it
but-
compulsively digs holes in the ground whenever you don't move fast enough.
Well,
It's like a
guess-
giant dog. It's like a giant dog.
A giant, dangerous dog. And again, it is a very, very long trip. Cannot emphasize enough. This trip is taking for the fuck ever. Shiraka seems to be dealing with it better than anyone else. Salvador, he's really trying to stay posy. You know, he keeps trying to sing, but like the singing gets less frequent. It's a really, really long, arduous road, and he cannot stand it. This whole realm is bad. It's all bad. Because the trip feels so long, it feels like a total of maybe 3 months on the road, even though Shiraka insists that it's only been like a week, and it really has not been that bad. You have passed, you passed the corpses of several what used to be cities. If this is supposed to be an echo of Faerun, that would mean you passed Waterdeep, you passed Daggerford, and you passed what would have been Baldur's Gate. Shadowfell Baldur's Gate is probably the eeriest that you pass. You can only see it, like the others you could only see in the distance because you basically had the ability to go around them. But Baldur's Gate sits right on the edge of the river, and it's like the only major bridge across this river. And Evernight was, taken over by the undead, but this whatever this Shadowfell equivalent of Baldur's Gate is has just been left to molder and ruin. It is this towering, ghostly skeletons of buildings backlit by this bleak gray sky. There are signs of life, but the signs of life have been sitting there for what looks like 100 years. Like you see like a little girl's doll lying on the road, but it has been there so long that the fabric has started to mold. And it is absolutely fucking horrifying. And the only one who doesn't seem to be affected at all by it is Stormy.
Even Shiraka is, like, creeped out.
Yeah, Shiraka doesn't really like it either. Stormy eats a door, though.
Oh.
Nice. Stormy's gonna save us all.
Good for your teeth.
Crunchy. Yeah, maybe we should teach him to not eat
There's nothing left in the city, right?
I mean, you can try to loot, but you're not gonna find a whole lot.
Nyla tries to loot it.
Oh, God.
Alright, roll a 1d100, Nyla.
Okay.
See what you could find.
You find an extraordinarily old, dusty bottle of wine with a faded label.
She is so excited.
It is so old you cannot immediately tell if it's safe to drink.
I don't think anything here is safe to drink, so don't try it, Nyla.
Nyla comes out covered in dust, like head to toe, I would like to imagine. And she's like, look what I found!
Selwyn sneezes.
Does anyone have a corkscrew?
Sounds like I don't think that would be safe to drink, Nyla.
Well, we could try.
Wine can go off,
It can go off. Even if I have Purify Food and Drink now, I don't want you to drink it, although it would be fun.
You cast Purify Food and Drink and the wine disappears.
So, I've basically worked out that we're going to the equivalent of Candlekeep.
Yeah.
So I would...
There's nothing else this far south that would be.
Yeah. So, if this is at all like Candlekeep, do we have to bring something to get in here?
He says, I guarantee you, whatever our method of egress, it will not be following anyone's rules.
Okay.
Now that's the kind of thing I like to hear.
But yeah, once you get to Shadowfell Baldur's Gate, a city with a name that you do not know, it does not take long before you get to Shadowfell Candlekeep, which Shiraka called Darkfire Citadel. You can tell, Selwyn, that this is definitely Shadowfell Candlekeep. It is still, like, situated sort of just off the coast on a sort of, like, little mountainous area. The difference between whereas Candlekeep is wide and relatively low, this is like an enormous black spire shooting straight through the clouds. It is lit with ominous green light throughout each of the windows, dappling the sides of the building. And Shiraka says, this must be the place.
I would imagine.
There is a very narrow stone bridge connecting the coast to what looks like the front door.
So, what's our plan?
Go inside, find him, and kill him. Claim his soul for the Raven Queen.
Another question, how are we going to get Stormy across this bridge?
Stormy seems like he would follow you absolutely anywhere, but you do notice, even from this distance, that door is kind of small. Like, he might be able to get across the bridge, but he will definitely not be able to get into the door.
Not fit.
Well, Well, he can just keep watch for us.
How am I going to explain that to him? He's dumb, remember?
I think we should cross the bridge.
All right. I guess Nyla is the first one to go across, and Stormy definitely tries to follow. And he manages to like wobble his way across this very narrow stone bridge.
Oh no!
But the moment the doors, by the way, these two huge iron doors that are standing open, and every now and then in the wind, the door will clatter against the inner wall as an artifact of the wind rushing through. But you get to the front doors, and Stormy, he absolutely cannot fit. Like, he keeps trying to maneuver himself, like poke his head under, like, lower one shoulder and try to get in that way, but there's nothing doing. It's absolutely not working.
I didn't think you would fit, but I just,
Salvador's like, it's okay, Stormy, and he tries to pat Stormy's nose, and Stormy's like, ah! And keeps trying to force himself through, and it is not working.
It's not working, oh my god. Can somebody make him smaller?
Sounds like no.
Do we have spells for that? No? Okay.
There is a spell enlarge
There
reduce,
is a
but I
spell.
don't think anyone has it. Yeah.
Anyone has it, yeah.
Nope.
Sal says, I mean, maybe we should just let him keep trying and just keep going.
Just leave him. Yep, I think that's what's happening. Okay, so what's inside? Now let's try to scope out the place. Like,
So you
we're making a lot of
finally
noise.
so you finally turn around, Nyla, and like you had been kind of preoccupied with the enormous render trying to fit his entire mass through the door. But you turn around and you finally look at this tableau in front of you, and you realize, wow, this is a horror show. So there are a bunch of skeletonized bodies that are lying around the entrance. Some of them have swords or spears stuck through their rib cage. Further out, you can see like disparate pieces of paper scattered across the floor and across a couple tables. But for the most part, what you see are these huge, completely empty, cobweb and dust-covered shelves. It looks like this used to be some sort of library, but all the books were just gone. They're gone now.
Oh, this pisses me off so much.
Shiraka is already heading inside. In the window, any candle or any light source glows an eerie green in Darkfire Citadel. You hear a very loud thump from somewhere upstairs.
I stare up at the ceiling.
Sal holds his holy symbol to his chest, like, oh god, help me. Shiraka, for his part, does not seem the least bit scared. When he hears the thump, he immediately sets off into this deadly silent sprint.
Shiraka, what are we facing?
He does not answer. He is already on his way out the door, heading toward the source of the sound.
Alright. Let's go
Fuck.
follow.
Okay, Nyla's gonna try to stealth this, because she doesn't like all this being out in the open shit.
Okie dokie. So Shiraka leads the way. It's very difficult to get an intuitive sense of the layout of this building. But he manages to find a very, very tight, small spiral staircase going up, which he immediately ascends, with you guys at his heels, I imagine. And you eventually follow him up to a couple stories up, and you see, when you finally stop, you see him pressed to the wall outside this door. From inside there is this abundant source of green light, and it's creating a large arc of greenish light on the floor outside of it. He turns toward you as you come up the stairs, and he puts a finger to his mouth.
I nod silently.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He makes a gesture around the door as if someone should go and look.
Lovely. Okay. Nyla
Ariadne
puts her
just
head
looks
up.
at Nyla like,
Yeah,
So
let's be
Nyla puts her head
honest.
up and he goes around saying,
Let's be intellectually honest, Nyla. Nyla, roll stealth for me with advantage because you have your hood. So Nyla, you peer around the corner and you see a very interesting tableau. You see a couple eerie green specters floating around the room. But the most notable feature of interest, this room still has some books left, but they are rapidly being depleted by this handsome devil.
oh,
Ugh.
This skeletonized figure draped in cloth like a mage, maybe, or, a warlock of some kind. And he is literally devouring books. He is ripping pages off, chewing them up, and eating them.
Nyla's gonna sneak back around the corner and look at you guys and be like, "Well, I think we found our guy. Skeleton looks like a mage eating books."
He's
whispering
what?
all of this.
eating? What?
Eating
them?
books, eating them.
Sassy's like, is he cute?
He's a skeleton. Okay, Sassy.
What do you
Another
have
shot.
against skeletons, Nyla?
I'm just I don't think they're cute generally, but okay, we don't have to talk about this now.
Wait, we can't confront him yet. Sassy ramages through their pack and starts changing into their most dapper ball gown.
Oh my god.
Oh boy. All right, Sassy.
Okay, well, I don't know how to beat undead things. Sal?
So I was like, I can turn undead or I can try.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. Shiraka, any any thoughts here?
Shiraka is already pulling his spear off his back.
Oh god, okay, so I guess just fighting it. Okay.
All right.
Great. Well, I guess we're just gonna go in there. Is there anything else I saw in the room? Like, it's just eating books. Is there?
It is eating books, yeah. There's probably some good stuff in the books, but, it's hard to tell when they're being eaten.
Right. Exactly.
Also, Nyla doesn't care about books.
Right. Nyla doesn't care. Like the opposite of Selwyn. Like, ah!
I'm going to ask a question, and if any of you hesitate too long, the answer is going to be Shiraka. Who acts first?
Nyla.
Of course.
Yeah,
All
let
right.
Nyla get her thing in.
So paint us a word picture, Nyla. What do
Okay.
you do?
Nyla, seeing that everybody else, seeing that Shiraka's about to go in and attack and not wanting to miss sneak attack, is like, she's gonna push ahead of Shiraka, and she's gonna pull Bite out real quick.
Me first, bitch.
Yep.
Okay, are you aiming for the ghostly thingy-majiggers, or are you aiming for the big guy?
Big guy.
All right, roll with advantage.
Okay. Oh wow, that's some bad rolls.
That's a bad roll, but you also get to recall it if you don't want to use your bonus action to hide.
Yeah, I am gonna recall. I was trying to think about the other day how I would make this work without recalling it, and the answer is not well. So.
All right, so
There we
that's a
go.
total of 23, and let's all roll initiative.
Oh boy.
The initiative order has been set. Selwyn, you are first up in the order. You are still standing on the other side of the door.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast True Strike against the main one that's eating the books.
Book
Good,
eater.
'cause
Okay.
that'll give you advantage next time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it is resistant to necrotic damage, and as well as bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical attacks. It is immune to poison.
So yeah, I'm gonna share that information with you guys. And that's all I can
It doesn't have a body to be poisoned, so I wasn't planning on it, but okay.
All right, Nyla, you are next up in the order.
It's so good that I have at least one magical weapon, or I'd be in so much trouble.
Yeah, I knew I had to give you a magical weapon early. 'Cause...
Yeah, it'd be like, "Ruh-roh."
Well, I do also have one spell attack, so I got that going for me. Nobody's in 5 feet, so I'm just gonna have to do a standard attack.
All right, you're gonna do bite again.
Oh god, I have to. Actually, you know what she's gonna do? She's gonna use Ray of Frost.
Okay, Ray of Frost. That's a roll to hit, correct?
Yes.
Go ahead and roll then.
Forgive me while I figure out how to use magic attacks.
Magic, right? You're like, I have one magic
You just
thing.
add your
I
spell
can do
attack modifier. There's a special
Okay.
box for it.
There we go. That's just not a
Yeah.
thing I usually do.
17 is a hit. That's a hit. Go ahead and
Awesome.
roll damage. Alrighty, 7 damage.
Not great, but honestly, okay. And then she's gonna try to hide.
Okay, and then Nyla ducks into the shadows. The whites are going to turn on what they see as the biggest threat, and since Nyla is hidden, they are going to go after you, Selwyn.
Cool.
So they are going to make a total of 4 ranged spell attacks.
Oh boy.
Jesus.
So let's just go ahead and it looks like at least 2 of them will hit. 7 plus 5 is 13, so that probably won't hit. But 12,
Yeah, so only one.
12 plus 5. Okay, so that is you are going to take 7 necrotic damage
Okay.
and make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Hang on. Ooh.
Yep, that's not good enough.
Also, I'm gonna say that shield came up as a reaction.
It's not an attack, so a shield would not.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Not for life drain.
Okay.
So you are going to take 9 additional necrotic damage, and your hit point maximum has been reduced by that much.
Ooh.
Oof. Okay.
Shiraka is up next. Let's see what fun shit he has. You know what? Let's just have him use his shadow spear. So he is going to hurl his spear directly at Deathlock. 19 is a hit, so he is going to take 1d8 plus 4.
How, like, gay is Sal's reaction to, like, strong arms throwing this?
It's a little gay. He's a little gay. Like, oh my. And so it takes 9 damage. Alright, so that is Shiraka's turn. Salvador is up next in the order, and he says, "Oh my, that's very nice." And he is very nice.
Like, not good time to be gay.
I'm sorry,
I can't turn it off.
I know you can't. I can't either. But there's nothing for me to look at.
The next time I get hit on, that's what I want it to be.
Oh my, very nice. Okay. He is going to cast Guiding Bolt at one of the whites, since they just did some nasty bad stuff to his very good friend Sylvain. Yeah, 12 is a hit. So he is going to cast it at level 3, because might as well see if he can take it out.
All right.
So that is 4d6, 5d6, 66 damage. Woof!
Wow, good job, Sal.
Doesn't quite kill it, but he gets it most of the way there. Alright.
Take it back, that was a good hit. You can ogle all you want, it's fine.
If it makes you cast like that. Alright, next up is the Deathlock. Sal realizes after he casts that very impressive spell, it's like, damn it, I forgot to turn undead. Okay, I'll promise I'll do it next time. So he is going to... Oh, I remember this spell. This is going to be a throwback for you too, Val. God,
Is it Hunter's Mark?
No, it's even better. He's going to cast Evard's Black Tentacles. What's up, Thug? I'm about to tentacle your dick.
That's a Taz reference for Kay.
Oh god.
So I need basically everyone except Nyla to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Fucking hentai spell. Great. Hey,
Oh, Sal rolled a nat 20.
Nice.
There you go, Sal. But not so much.
Ariazi's whole core is just like, nope.
And I gotta roll one for Shiraka too. Nope.
Oh boy.
Okay, so it is at half as much. When a creature enters the affected area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, the creature must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 3d6 bludgeoning damage and be restrained by the tentacles until the spell ends. Nice. Okay, so Shiraka and Selwyn, you are both restrained. And you... Well, that's just a bad roll. And you each take 7 points of damage.
I'm at 18. Help.
Sal's like, okay, I'll help you, hang on. It's like, I thought I was going to turn on Deputy because I'm going to heal next time. Next up in the order is Ariazis. Your friends are both tentacled.
Yeah, right. Like, oh, gross. I hate it so much.
You had a dream like this once.
Oh no, she didn't. I definitely didn't. No, never. Oh. She's like, maybe a nightmare? Oh, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Okay.
Sal's like, I had a dream like this once.
Oh god, I don't want to know, Sal.
It made me realize some things about myself.
How far away is the Deathlock from the tentacle?
The Deathlock is about 30 feet away from... You are all clustered outside the door, and that's where the tentacles are.
Okay.
Actually, you're gonna have to make another dexterity saving throw unless you want to move. Yeah, you're just gonna have to make another dexterity saving throw, Ariazis.
Okay.
Because you started your turn within range of it.
Okay. So there's my dex.
Okay, you avoid it again, but if you stay in this area, you are gonna have to keep repeating those saving throws.
Yeah, so she's gonna move forward then to cast, I guess, Flaming Sphere and just like ram it into them.
All right.
I'm her okay.
Is that a roll to hit or
Oh, they need a dex saving throw.
a dex saving throw? Okay.
You hear this outraged kind of whine from Selwyn at the idea of fire.
You know what? Shush.
But the books. What is your spell save DC?
Let me scroll down. Spell save DC is 15.
All right. So the Deathlock is gonna take all the damage, but the other two, no, and one of the whites is going to take it. Okay.
So
The other one will get half damage or whatever the spell.
Okay, 2d6 fire damage. That's for the failed save. So
Alright, so that's 9.
Do I have to roll again or just half that for the others?
It's automatically half. If it is half as much on a failed saving throw, then yeah.
Okay,
But you
yeah,
take out
so-
one of the whites, so that's good.
There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So I'll just move it towards like positioning towards the other.
One of the whites bursts into flames with a shriek. Right at this moment, you hear a very loud thump on the other side of the wall outside this room.
What the fuck?
Next up in the
no,
order is
what's that?
Selwyn.
Okay.
Sorry about the fire. I had to.
I'm in a horrible, horrible hentai dream. Okay.
Or a really good hentai dream.
Nope. There's no such thing.
No.
Oh god.
I am
No.
very upset about these tentacles.
So what can I do?
Oh, you're grappled, right?
You're a wizard. You can do whatever a wizard can do.
No, but I mean, like, I'm restrained.
Oh yeah, you have to you're gonna take another 3d6 bludgeoning damage, unfortunately, because you started
Automatically?
your turn grappled. Yep, because you started your turn grappled.
Boo.
Okay.
13 points of damage. Are you unconscious?
Not yet. I have 5 hit points left.
Oh boy.
Oh jeez.
Okay, so you
Now
can
it's
make
going up, it's okay.
you can make a strength or dexterity check, your choice, to try to get out.
Dexterity all the way, babe.
Yeah. Your strength is probably like no.
Yep, that's good enough. So you managed to stumble out of the black tentacles squirming across the floor, and now you have 1 action left. You don't have any movement left because it's difficult to read.
Cool. But I have an action left, which means I have advantage because I still have True Strike.
That's
Yay.
true. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Cool. I'm casting Shatter.
All right.
Oh, what the fuck
Shudder
is
them,
that?
bitches.
As a
What's the
third level?
What's the range on that?
60 feet.
All right, you're gonna hit both of them.
Cool.
So go ahead. They have to make a con save, is it?
Yes. So how would having advantage on that work? That doesn't work if I'm not rolling to hit.
You don't have advantage. It's just
I
a
should
roll
from
to hit.
True Strike. I know.
Yeah, like advantage only applies to like if you have a roll
Things
to
that
hit.
I do,
Roll
yeah.
to hit, yeah.
Wait, so 16, a 17, and a 13?
16, 17, 13. How many of those are?
Okay. So the 17 and the 16 will take half damage, and the 13 takes
The deathlock
full.
is gonna take full damage. Okay, go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. So doing that as a third level spell, so that is 1.
Woof!
Nice.
It's quite a lot of damage.
Yay!
Woo.
I'm not looking great though.
Yeah.
And half of 23 is 11, so it is going to... Oh, not looking great, but it's still alive. Next up in the order is Nyla.
Oh, Niall's gonna look at you and be like, "You're still alive. It's fine. You'll last till Sal."
Thanks!
Good
Great
talk.
vote of confidence!
Oh, by the way, after you cast Shatter, you hear another thump from outside on the wall.
What is that? Why does it keep happening?
I don't know.
It's very concerning, but also we have bigger problems.
More immediate problems, not necessarily bigger.
Fair enough. What's gonna happen if I come out of the hiding? How do I avoid the giant thing of massive vines and shit on the ground?
You were not within range of Udvar's black tentacles.
Okay, good. I just
You
want to make
are-
sure I don't do that.
I assumed you ducked behind a table or something.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna come out and because I was hidden, I'm gonna have should have sneak attack and advantage. I'm gonna just throw bite again at the main one.
Okie dokie, roll 2 hit.
Oh my god!
Wow, a 3 and a 1
Yeah,
with advantage.
Wow.
So
that
yeah,
blows.
it sails right past his head.
Well, shit.
Are you gonna recall it, or are you gonna hide?
Fuck.
You could always hide and then recall it on the next turn.
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna hide again.
Okay. Nyla ducks back into the shadows like a good and strong rogue. Next up in the order is the white. The one remaining white with
There's
6
one,
hit
okay.
points. He is going to... I mean, Selwyn, you have made yourself a really big threat. I mean,
Uh-huh.
he's going to attack you, my sweet girl.
Yeah, after that big chunk, they're like, fuck that.
but a 6 does not hit. So
No.
a bolt of necrotic energy soars past your head, crashes through the door behind you, and sends wood splintering everywhere. And after that, you hear one more unbelievably loud, earth-shattering crash. Half of the wall suddenly breaks apart and rock goes flying everywhere. I want everyone in the entire room to make a dexterity saving throw.
Shit.
Okay, so anyone who got a lower than a 12, which it looks like it's pretty... oh, I'm sorry, no, the DC I said was 13. So a 12 or lower. So
Great.
that's the Deathlock, Shiraka, Ariazis, and Nyla. You all are going to take that much bludgeoning damage as the wall explodes around you. And I think that takes Selwyn out for the count.
Yep.
Guess
Boy,
who's
it
joined
does
the
it.
order? It's Stormy! He climbed the side of the castle and busted through the wall.
Killing Selwyn in the process.
Ah!
No, I'm not happy to see you killed my friend.
I need...
You knocked out Selwyn, bad boy.
17, a case of the Deathlock took 17 points of damage, and Stormy is going to try to grab him, so he needs to make another dexterity saving throw. That's not going to do it. Stormy grabs the Deathlock in one hand and bites it.
Oh my god.
Wow, that's 17 hit points. Okay, so Stormy grabs the Deathlock and rips its head off with his mouth.
A little violent, but okay, good.
Yeah, okay. Next up in the order is Salvatore, and he's like, okay, wow! There's still one white left in the room, so he is going, and Selwyn is unconscious. So he is going to use going to cast Cure Wounds at level 2. So that is... you have 22 hit points now, Selwyn. You wake up on the floor. Oh, and Sel has to make a dexterity. Sel has to make a dexterity saving throw. That's not good
Sorry
enough.
about that.
So he is now restrained and he's taken 7 points of damage.
I don't know, maybe he's into that.
He is a little into it and he does not like it.
This is not what I wanted to know about Sal.
The Deathlock is not in the order anymore. Ariasis, you only have one target left.
Right. I do. Oh, I still have the flaming spear, so I'll just use that. Just ram it into there.
Okay.
A dexterity saving throw.
Does 15? What's yours?
Yeah, my spell save DC is 15.
So that's a yes, so it takes half damage.
Okay.
Yep, you with this, and that was a bonus action, so you have another action.
Okay. Everything else is concentration. I'm just gonna bonk it. Yep, with the staff.
All right. Roll plus strength plus your proficiency. A 21 is a hit. Roll damage. All right.
That definitely did.
She definitely goes in and finishes it off.
Like, bonks it.
Behind you, Ariazi's half of the Deathlock drops to the floor, and you hear. "Ah!" Hey friends, it's your favorite DM, Tessa Crowley. Can't wait for the next episode? Good news, you can join our Discord server to download episodes in pre-release, weeks before anyone else, at bit.ly/cfcdiscord. If you want more information on the show, character sheets, and social media links, head to our website, critfail.club or critfailclub.com. Full episodes are available on our YouTube channel, bit.ly/cfcchannel, and wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, so... That was a good meow. That was
That's a
the-
fabulous
the,
meow.
The boys are fighting, so they've both got the back ears, and they're just very cranky looking right now.
it's very serious cat fights.
And they're right now. They're at the phase where they're just staring at each other with one paw held up in the air. Oh, now they're at it again.
Cat
If
fights,
they
cat
keep
fights, cat
going, I'll
fights.
kick them out. That's why don't spit your brother's hair out. Oh god, I have to vacuum now. So gross.